Hi. So I'm sure many people have been watching reviews of the What is a Woman documentary by Matt Walsh from Daily Wire. And it's so fascinating to me, this whole concept, this whole war. It's like a language war. It's like a semantics war, really. And it's stupid. It really is so stupid. But I want to ask, like, does anyone ask why someone feels that they're not in the right body? Why they feel that they would identify as the other sex? Like, really why? Like, not just in the intake when you're getting your hormones or your blockers or your whatevers, but like, really, like, where do you think this began? Why do you feel this way? I would imagine that about 25, maybe 10 to 25% of these people that are transitioning medically and getting their bodies mutilated in the process. Why? Did you always relate to it? Did you always feel that way? Did you always beg your parents to let you be a boy or a girl if you were the opposite? That's probably true for 10 to 25% of the population that is transitioning currently. And then the other 25%, maybe 25 to 40% of people. This is just my own guesstimations based on studies and research that I've done. 25 to 40%. Okay, so we have 10 to 25% would be the ones that have never felt any different than the opposite of what they were born. The second set is 25 to 40%, I believe, is due to incest and molestation and sexual trauma that happened at a very, very young age for all of these kids. And I would imagine, based on my own sexual trauma as a child, that you wouldn't feel right ever in your body. You would want to be finding something to make you feel better, whole, okay, that you didn't do something wrong, that it wasn't your fault, that you're okay. And I'm here to tell you that trauma, and if I hadn't dealt with it and are dealing with it in a long, drawn-out, arduous process way, and I had an option to be the opposite of what I am, to feel better, and so many people around me say, I feel better, it's amazing, I finally am here, and I would want that quick fix too. I would want to be able to get away from it and run away from that feeling immediately. Which is so fucking scary. Maybe you want to change your gender so you don't attract the same type of perpetrators. Maybe if I'm not womanly and I don't have curves and no one can see my boobs and they think I'm a man, they won't throw that energy at me anymore and make me traumatized. We're not transphobic. You're sexually traumatized. That's 107,000%, even though that's not scientifically possible, really. I believe this. So I'm up to 50%, right, of all the trans, or the transitioning people. I don't like to say trans because I feel like it's offensive. So the transitioning persons, I really try, and I think we all do, to honor you, to respect you, to give you love and support. doing this to hurt you. We're questioning reality and logic and what we know to be true. These things kind of make someone who doesn't align different than majority to say, what the fuck is going on? How do you not know what a woman is? How is it that just a woman, or one who says she's a woman, says what they can say what they are? How is it that they're the only ones who can define themselves? And there's backlash and people saying, how dare he even say a cat? Do you know that there are children in our school systems right now that identify as cats and meow for their answers in school, and the teachers have no recourse? It's their right to identify as a cat, and you are to encourage that behavior. When our children act and behave in psychotic ways, we wonder why. We ask why. That's the whole difference. This scares the fuck out of everybody because we don't understand why so many are trying to change themselves. I believe every person is broken, at least a little bit. So here we have a society of fully cracked people dealing with traumas, sexual, poverty, so many different kind of traumas from our childhood when we were developing and growing and supposed to feel secure in ourselves. The other 50%, I don't know if you know this, but majority of the transitioning persons are male or female to male. So there's a lot of 10 to 24-year-old women, biologically female, I guess I should say, that are now male or attempting to be male. Why is the pendulum so far over? I think that there's a lot of it. There's some commingling of the sexual trauma. I think their trauma is so deep, and that's the 25 to 50% that I was saying, or 40% that I was saying, is it's such severe trauma that they have to run away from whatever they think made that happen to them. So what better way than to go to the different sex? If you're not demure and sexy and sultry and soft and womanly, curvy, maybe they won't look at you the same, and they won't want to do what they did to you when you were a kid. That's what I'm talking about. But the last group, which is like, I thought I said 25 to 50%, but I think I said 25 to 40%, but I think I'm going more to 60. So I think it's 10 to 25% true, real, feeling that you're something other than what you were born. 25 to 60% severe sexual trauma at a young age and wanting to escape that. And the rest, which is 40%, are also sexual trauma survivors, I think a majority of them. But also they are normal girls. Normal hormone girls. And boys. I mean, the boys too. The ones that turn female. Or turn girl, turn female, turn woman. They don't feel right in their skin. They think that changing everything will make them feel right, like they're supposed to feel. Because they don't feel it. They can't feel it. They don't know. They have no idea who they are, and they're trying to figure it out. And this looks so great. And maybe if I do change it all up, like, I will finally not feel this emptiness inside of myself. I'll belong. I'll have a place. I'll be safe. But the thing is I've never met currently or as myself growing up as a child, I've never met any teenager from 10 years old on, because that's when the hormones really, it starts seeping and starts changing then, felt right in their own skin. Fuck, I don't even feel right in my own skin sometimes. I don't think anybody ever really does. Truly. Especially after trauma and injury to yourself. Your identification of yourself. That's the injury part. That's why there's more girls, because they are affected more by teen angst and stuff. The girls act out and display this stuff like sexual tendencies, proclivities, or they're extra boyish, or they're whatever. Girls express it more. That angst, that turmoilation, that tumbling inside of you. They're like, yeah, okay, let me express it. Which way? And they're trying. Boys, they do that internally. They don't share that expression outwardly. They keep it in until it kills them, until they hang themselves without ever saying a word to anybody. That's why there's more trans women becoming men in this day and age. The amount of trans people has exponentially risen, so far off the beaten path. Before, 3 years ago, back in 2020, I looked all this up, and the statistics were from the Census Bureau is that 0.3% of all Americans identified as trans. And I think that number is now 2.6% or something. What the fuck? At this rate, it's going to be 100% in 20 years. Every person born is going to want to change who they are. Why don't we fix the core issue? Honor our kids. Give them the love and acceptance and support that they need as a child, not to help support their decision, but to help them sit in their pain for a minute, assess it, realize the beginning of it, and begin healing, and then see where we get, rather than lopping off breasts and growing micro penises and sterilizing all these people, because they'll never be able to have kids again, even if they decide they want to go back. The lie is that these blockers and these hormones are reversible. They're not. They're not. A man's body and a woman's body are completely different things. Anatomically, chemically. Just because you want to be a man or feel you are one doesn't mean you are. I know what a cat is because I've experienced them. I've had them my whole life. They're my babies. I love my kitties. I know what a dog is. I know what a monkey is. Now, if I saw a monkey-dog combo, I'd be like, what the fuck is that? I have no idea what that is. That's true. I wouldn't know what that was. I could not define it. But I can define a woman. I can define a man. I can define a cat and any other animal that we're around. And a lot of other things. We all can. So don't negate these arguments or these questions of, well, if you don't know what a woman is, do you know what a cat is? Or is that a dog? Because if we start to say whatever you think it is what it is, where's society going to go? We have nothing. If we have no common ground, we have no correlation to draw to synchronize with and feel right. Like we all agree. That's a cat. That's a dog. That's a guy. That's a slide. That is a light bulb. That is a toothbrush. If everybody, if I said, here, oh, I gotta go get my toothbrush, and the whole village said, what? What's a toothbrush? I'm like, you know the thing that you brush your teeth with in the morning? I'm like, oh, wow. No, that's a spigot. And then this guy says, oh, no, that's my comb. And then someone else says, my toothbrush. If I go and say, I need a toothbrush, does anybody have a toothbrush? And nobody can identify what the fuck I'm talking about, and they don't know what I mean, what I need, how can we even live in a society? How can we communicate thoroughly and effectively and efficiently if we all are able to just draw upon our own conclusions and decide what the fuck a rock is? That rock is not a rock. That's some moss there, lady. You define moss as like the green stuff on the side, the north-facing side of a tree. No, I say it's those little gray things in the ground that get hot in the sun or cooled in the water or whatever. That's fucking scary. We need to get in the nitty-gritty. These parents need to understand that they need to take a strong arm to these entitled victimized children and teach them to stop being a victim of their life happenstances. Life is not about what happens to you. It's how you react to it. What you fucking do with it. That is what it's about. Even if I'm a victim, even if I've had so many things fucking happen, and had a horrible thing, say like I was, I don't even want to say anything bad because I don't want to like jinx it. But say walking out of the grocery store, one of my bags was taken from me. Just out of my cart, just ran, and they took it. Later, I wouldn't just be like, I cannot believe that somebody would violate me like that, and they would take my food when I have nothing, and I have to struggle to figure out how to get all those things that were in that bag. How dare they? Why me? Why me? No, it's not what I'm fucking doing. Yes, partially, because I got to go through those motions and figure the fucking shit out. But I'm also going to say, what could I have done differently? How could I prepare myself for that so that couldn't happen? A lot of times when I'm in the grocery store, I never leave my purse in the cart. I never leave it anywhere really. If I have my stuff, I make sure I know where my stuff is and I can grab it easily. I walk into a grocery store and I look for the exits and I plan. If anything were to happen in this area, where would I go? Where would I run? I know that's fucked up, but that's the society we live in, and that's what it's created for me, is planning ahead and anticipating shit and preventing it from happening to me. So if that guy took my bag, what was I doing? I was on the phone, or I was getting into my trunk and my cart was way back there, and he was easily able to just grab one out and pull it out and go, rather than pulling the cart all the way to my car with me and having it right there. Like a lot of times I'll even have half, like if all the bags are in the cart, I will put my body in the middle, not even at the push part where the stupid seat is. I'll put it in the middle when I'm putting my stuff back in my car. So it is all within my arm's reach at any given moment. I don't live in a bad area, thank God, but these still are the things that I think about. And I say this example simply because no matter what happens in your life, it could be the most horrible thing, and there could be nothing that you could do to prevent this XYZ from happening to you. But most of the time there is. Most of the time you have other things you could have done differently that would have prevented it from happening. So all I am saying is, why are we not doing that here? Why are we not stepping back and reflecting on our own actions, our own thoughts and judgment of others, and our own championing of a cause and victimhood and entitlement bullshit? Like, all this whole trauma, the childhood trauma thing, has just created a society of victims entitled victims. I deserve, I want, I get. Everybody's out for theirs. Everybody wants to be special. Everybody wants to be different and not of the norm and not cis. So I'm different than that. Why? Why? Because you attribute the cis with being the reason why those things happened as a child. The cis or the normal stuff is what didn't work before. So the easy thing to do is to say that is the bad thing. Instead of reviewing the whole entire thing and saying this piece is the problem. This is the diseased area, not the entirety of this group or this whatever. Find your fucking cracks. Seal them up. Always, no matter what happens. It could be 99.99999% the other person's fault. But what is your 0.0001% fault? What is your role in it? Because you have one. And it's time we stop looking out to others and saying, you did this, or you did that. How about we look and turn it on ourselves? Look in the fucking mirror for a minute and go, I think I did that. How could I make it different next time if that happens again? What could I do differently to not have that happen again? Nobody does that anymore. Start doing it. Because I will tell you, when you do that, and when you reflect, and when you take ownership of your accomplishments and your failures and your faults, and you take inventory and you make adjustments, you know what happens? Do you know what happens? The esteem, the wholeness, the completeness, the feeling right in your skin comes. Because that all comes from hard work, from focus, determination, upholding your ethics and your values and your morals, and your desire to simply just want to be better than you were yesterday. That's all you need to try to do. Just try to be better than yesterday. You, not them, not her, not the dog, not the neighborhood, not your dad, not your mom, not whoever fucked you over. You. Be better in you, as you, tomorrow as you were today. We need to protect our babies from this, because I fear that there will be a lot more suicides and a lot more discontentedness in these children, because half of them going through the transition don't know what the fuck is happening, and yet this is the first time in their life they feel supported by this community, and so they're encouraged to increase it. Oh, you feel that way? Oh, ask them for double the amount of testosterone. Next time, just go in the office and just say, I want 100 milligrams a week, please, because that'll help you. And you do it. And all of a sudden, you feel full of rage and you're attracted to women when you never were before. But the testosterone in you is creating that desire and that new like. And you're like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I thought this was going to make me feel better about myself and make me feel like I was right. And I feel more wrong right now than I did before I started this. What the fuck is going on? And they reach out to people that have encouraged them and that have been there for them and that have taken them under their wing. And they're like, I don't know if this was the right decision for me. I don't know if I should continue this because I don't feel right. And those people bully them, berate them, and almost harass and vilify, so that it's almost like a rebound loneliness. It's like you were lonely, you were lonely. You didn't feel like anyone was with you and connected to you, and maybe really lonely, but then you change. And all these people come out of the woodworks and they're like, you're amazing, and look at you. Shine, baby, shine. Be who you are. Don't let the haters hate. Blah, blah, blah. And you were living your life like, fuck yeah, okay, I'm here. I got my people. They understand. We talk about it. Ooh, ooh, ah, ooh. And any exciting change, they'll listen to. And they'll be like, yeah, fuck yeah, girl, you got your micro penis going, woo! Whatever. But the moment that you question it, all of a sudden, all of it is gone. And it's almost like it's a catapult. Because here's your loneliness when you started. Your loneliness got better because you had this whole group of people saying you're amazing. Fuck yeah, be you. And so you're here. You start taking the testosterone or the estrogen or whatever, and you slowly are like, I'm still here, but now this dial or this measure level thing, I don't know what I'm trying to, but you know what I mean. This level is feeling like, this doesn't feel right. I don't know. Your gut is saying, I don't think this was the right decision. But they're all saying it is, so I'm going to keep going. And then pretty soon you keep going, and it really is not reversible. Like at a certain point, it really, your voice does change. It will never go back. You become infertile. You don't bleed. You grow muscles and hair and... Anywho. So, your loneliness was here. Now it's here because you're in this starlight, star bright of trans world. And then you say, fuck, I made a mistake. I think I don't know. My loneliness level is here and it's better, but my self-worth and my identifying myself is still here at the same level or lower. Because I'm like, wait a minute. This is less feels like me. But I'm belonging and I'm a part of something, so let me do it. And then when you question it and they slam you and bully you and harass you and berate you and denounce you from their group, what happens to that loneliness that was here in the beginning? And you brought it back here. It's like a rubber band, right? If you put a little bead in that band and you snapped it, where would it go? Would it go here? Just here? Or here? Or here? No. It would go fucking to the depths of that pain. To the deep trenches and trenches of that pain. To where you feel so lonely, your only recourse is to let go and to kill yourself. Or, thank God, some of these girls and boys are standing up and speaking out. Despite the bullying and the harassment, which makes me see them as so fucking brave and strong. Because this movement, I don't know if you grew up in the 90s or anything, but I always remember hearing stories of these man-hating feminists. It's like, oh, she's a man-hating feminist, and they'd be like, I'm gone. Why? Because they were vicious. They went for the jugular. They were mean. And they took you out unless you aligned with their desires. I think that at this stage of the game, we don't need to start defining what a woman or a man is. We don't need to change the definition of those things. What we need to change the definition of is this woke bully shit. And I think, unfortunately, I think the feminist movement helped create this entitled, victimized subset of evil, really. Hurt people hurt. And what are they all doing? They're hurting us. Because they're hurting. Not one single child going through puberty from the ages of 10 to 24, not one of them feels right in their skin. Not one. Not one of them feels whole and complete and secure in everything. Not one. I will tell you that most adults still fucking don't. But we're not cutting off our boobs and our penises to feel better. Maybe we're doing drugs, or we're eating food, or gambling, or spending money shopping, or whatever to make us whole. Hopefully a lot of us are doing the work, the internal work, and the question and the mirror back. Why? Why did that happen? What could I have done differently? Self-reflection is key. It's key. So please, start this real conversation. Ask why? Why? Why do you feel that you aren't the right gender? Why? How long? When do you remember the first time you felt it? Is there anything else that you can think of that would help you feel that way without mutilating your body and changing your entire chemical makeup and sterilizing yourself? Why? That's the question. I know what a woman is. The question is why? Why do you feel the need? Be brave. Do something like Project Veritas says, and figure that fucking answer out before you do anything so drastic. Do you know that so many women who have breast cancer, they have to have mastectomies, double mastectomies, to get rid of it? And a lot of times they grieve the loss of their feeling that they're a woman, and their identity and who they are and their energy and their nature. And it's very hard for a lot of them to lose a defining characteristic of themselves. So why would you want to do that readily and electively? I will never understand. Now, I do know that there are, that, like I said, that subset that is real and true, that they feel biologically the other sex. And I want to honor them, and I want them to get the treatment and the help and the guidance and the support and the surgeries and the medicine that they need to do that. But 75% of these people are not that. They're not. They're depressed. They have mental issues that they need to deal with. I'm sorry. I've gone down this whole rabbit hole of this transgender thing because it doesn't make any sense, and it's so illogical to me, and it doesn't make any sense. And so I've done a lot. I've looked at a lot of stuff, and I'm very passionate about this because I want to protect our babies, and I want to protect you. So start asking, why? Why don't you feel right? You'd be surprised the answer they'll give you, because I don't think anyone's ever asked them that. Go love those babies. Listen, ask them why. I love you.